Hi, thanks for coming back. So in this particular video, we are going to talk about this getting started part of getBootStrap.com, because if you're a beginner, you should come to this page and learn how you can actually start. And the reason behind showing you these steps is because this is a kind of learning process. So once you start learning Bootstrap, you should get familiar with Bootstrap, and then you can easily learn it. So this is the process that I followed when I was learning Bootstrap, and I'm sharing the same process with you. You can actually develop your own learning process as well, but yeah, I'm sort of sharing mine one. Okay, so if you come to this particular page getting started, you can see the first thing is the download section, but we are not going to do that right now, because we will just move into other parts of it, and then we will come to this section and we'll show you how you can utilize it. So the second section which tells you is what's included. So once you come to the once you're downloading the Bootstrap, you will get these ones: Bootstrap CSS, map, min CSS, theme CSS, and other stuff. Same goes with JS and some font file. Okay, so this is the most important file with which you will be working at the time of development, and this is the second main important file. Obviously, you can utilize the fonts which is provided by the Bootstrap, and as you can see, this font is in different formats which is supported by different browsers. Okay, once you're starting with Bootstrap, you need to understand, if you're going to use this .js file, you have to include jQuery in your project. So these JS files are built on jQuery library. So as you can see, it is already here written that these JavaScript plugins require jQuery. So if you want to utilize the power of JavaScript which is provided by Bootstrap, you should come up with some jQuery library. It can be any version of this, but I recommend go with the latest one. Okay, so these are some of the files that you will get if you download the Bootstrap. These are some source code. The folder structure is this. If you download the entire source code from here, this section, you will get these folders. Okay, where it gives you the less file, the JS font, dist is the distribution file, and docs is this example set which you can find down like in the same page. Compiling CSS and JavaScript is for not for beginners. If you are a beginner, you should not do that. You should learn what grunt is, and then you can actually compile these things. But we are not going to work with this right now, because this particular complete tutorial I'm trying to make is just for the beginners, one who just want to understand how Bootstrap works and can create some good websites. Okay, once you will dive more, once you will dig more into Bootstrap, you can easily understand what grunt is, and this is quite easy. Okay, this basic template is a kind of boilerplate template, you can say, and the you can say minimal Bootstrap template, which helps you to design a particular website. You can utilize this one if you want. If you don't want to utilize this one, it's okay, but in our tutorial we will start with that. Some examples that you will find in that source code document. Okay, this tool, actually this bootlink tool, helps you to remove the validation errors. We are not going into this one right now. Okay, now this particular section is also important. Suppose you are designing a website and you are having an app for both the platforms, for iOS and Android. I'm not talking about Windows right now. Okay, so suppose you're having an app for iOS as well as for Android. You can disable the responsiveness of your website, and how you can disable is given here. Okay, now browser and device support. So if you're designing a website, you must understand if your website is going to be going to look good on different browsers and device. So you should learn this, or you should read this section, because you will understand how many devices you are actually supporting. So mobile devices, it supports Chrome, Firefox, and Android Safari is not there. In iOS, is all of them are there. Okay, in desktop browsers, in Mac you cannot find Internet Explorer, and in Windows Safari is not supported. Okay, in Internet Explorer 8 and 9, there are huge CSS attributes which is not supported, which are like some of them are border, radius, box shadow, transform, transition, and placeholders. Okay, so and these are supported in Internet Explorer 9. Okay, so If you want to utilize this, then in that case you have to use some external JavaScript libraries. Example is polyfill. Okay, Internet Explorer 10 and Windows 8 and Windows Phone 8. Yes, you can see about these ones. And then for the printing part, so suppose you're trying to print your website, so you're making your website print friendly. Okay, so in that case you have to use this media print. If you are good with CSS, you can easily understand this part as well. But if you're not good with CSS, let me tell you that this particular media print allows you to print the part of the DOM. If you want to print the part of the DOM, you can utilize this particular CSS. Now this Android stock browser is something that I never care about, but if you're a designer and if you want to reach maximum audience, in that case you can care about this particular part as well. So what is in the Android stock browser? So if you have ever used Jelly Bean or even some older browsers, okay, older Android cell phones, you must have seen there is a browser app. So this browser app is having very less support for Bootstrap, so you can utilize this using this script. Third party support, we are not going to talk about that. This particular part, which is licensing and facts, so if you're using any open source thing, you should learn about the license and the facts which is related to any open source frameworks, any open source tool, libraries, uh, editors, whatever you use. Okay, so it tells you more about what you can do and what you cannot do, what you should do. So you just read it and you will understand. And if you're a not native English speaker, if you cannot read the things properly in English, in that case you can come to this particular translation part and you can see the documentation which is written in another languages as well. Okay, so this helps you to learn Bootstrap in your native language, but this particular part is developed by the community, so Bootstrap is not taking the responsibility of the accuracy of it. Okay, but I do believe these are good because community always helps to grow any open source thing. So just for the example, I just opened this Chinese one and it looks good. I cannot read it, I just can translate it, but yeah, this looks good. So if I go up and if I download this uh, Bootstrap, I have three options. I can download SAS, source code, and the Bootstrap. So what I'm gonna do right now, I'm gonna just download this Bootstrap section, okay, and this will come with some distribution folder, and I'm going to save it in my Bootstrap tutorial folder, okay. And before, I'm just trying to extract it, okay. In the process when it is going to be extracted, I'm going to talk about this area as well, okay. So right now you can see there are a few things: link, rel style sheet, href, integrity, and you might, since you do understand HTML a bit, you might understand that okay, this particular thing is referring to a CSS file, but what is this cross origin and integrity? Okay, so for that there is a link that can tell you about subsource integrity. Okay, so subsource integrity allows you to make your website more secure when your CDN is compromised. So you can read more about this one here, okay, if you want to learn more about what it is. So yeah, this one is quite good, but somehow you might find some problems if you are using this integrity thing in your website. Some of the browsers do not support it. I do believe they must have written somewhere here. Okay, yeah, the Chrome, Firefox support, IE, Opera and Safari, there is very less support for that. Okay, so yeah, that's the entire thing about this integrate and cross origin is like, suppose since you are making your website is www.xyz.com and the CDN is max CDN, so they are cross origin. Okay, so they are telling this anonymous. Okay, so now let's try and see how this particular Bootstrap 3.3.7 looks in terms of the files. So we have got three set of folders: font, CSS and JS. So as we can see here, this is the JS file, the entire JS file, and this min.js file, which is a kind of one-line file. It looks like there are two lines, so you can actually break it to three lines as well. It will not change anything. So same goes with Bootstrap CSS. You can see all the CSS CSS which is provided by BootStrap, and you can see the glyphicons which tells you about, like, once you will use the font you will understand what this glyphicon is. And you can see the min.css file where you can see the one line CSS, the entire one line CSS. Okay, so you can utilize this bootstrap.css file at the time of development, and you should switch to min.css once you are going for production. So let's go and check what this bootstrap.css file does actually. So it comes with a quite good documentation. So all you need to do is to read it. As you can see, this is using the normalized.css. We will talk about that in our some of the next videos, what is this normalized CSS is. But just to tell you, normalized CSS is a kind of CSS which actually removes all the browser default CSS. So if you're using Internet Explorer 8 or Chrome, it comes with some default attributes of CSS which is getting injected to any CSS that you write. So it actually nullifies all those CSS. Okay, and if you see here, they're actually making everything 0. Okay, so this is what this particular part do. Glyphicons I have told you about. Icons, let's go back. So again, these are some of the CSS which tells you what this particular framework is going to do. And then you can see column access pull. So this is all about like column variables and column CSS, not variables, sorry for that. So you will be using this once you are designing any Bootstrap websites. Okay, so you can dive in and can check each and every individual lines of code so that you can actually understand what a particular CSS does. But just for the why I'm just going up and down just to show you some parts of it. So as you can see, there is media minimum width 1200 pixels. It says that okay, column LG, LG2, LG3 will be by default floating left, and if you utilize column LG12, it is going to take 100% of the width, and G11 will take 91.66666667% of the screen. Okay, so these are some of the calculated values for 12 grid mechanism. So this is how Bootstrap implements the 12 grid mechanism. Okay, there are few other table CSS. You can read it, go through each of the CSS. I'd recommend go through each of the CSS lines so that you can understand what the entire Bootstrap CSS framework is. Okay, it would help you to understand the class, and once you will go through it, you can actually remember the class as well. Okay, so once you're actually typing the codes, you can easily write some CSS class without going to the documentation. Okay, same goes with the Bootstrap JS. You can actually go and read the documentation, what this particular thing does, from where it you can find the open source library for it. Okay, so yeah, this is all about this getting Bootstrap tutorial, and in the next video we will try and write some codes. Okay, but just before moving to that, once you download it, just change your folder name to some of the great website that you're going to design. So I'm just doing it to my awesome website. Okay, and saving it to my awesome website. Okay, so now I have my awesome website here. Okay, and I can come out of this because there is nothing here actually. This has been renamed. So my awesome website is having 3 folders: CSS, font, and JS. And actually I can initialize, or I can actually create my own index.html file here. Okay, and then I'll save it. I'll utilize the default template which is provided by Bootstrap. Okay, so I can go here, I can copy this one. Okay, and now I am having a Bootstrap template going to be ready. But as you can see, this CSS Bootstrap min.css is included, and for the JS, these are pointing to the correct files where I should be, which I should use actually. Okay, apart from that, this particular template, if you're good with Sublime, you can actually use like this, and you can create your own templates as well. Okay, then thank you all. Thanks for watching this particular getting started part, and let me know in case you have any questions. Thank you.